We've been sold a dream forged in sweat, toil, and blind faith. A dream that if you work hard, follow the rules, and keep your head down long enough, success will eventually find you. But Machiavelli would scoff at such idealism. He would call it what it truly is, a comforting lie designed to keep the masses obedient and powerless. Machiavelli never praised hard work for its own sake. He praised results. He praised cunning, adaptability, timing, and ruthlessness. Not effort, but effectiveness. And in a world that worships hustle culture and glamorizes burnout, his warnings are more relevant now than ever. Hard work without strategy is slavery. It's spinning a wheel hoping it will lead somewhere, while those who understand power, timing, and influence build empires by pulling strings in the shadows. And if you don't understand this, if you continue to believe that effort alone equals reward, you'll be outplayed, outmaneuvered, and ultimately forgotten. Machiavelli understood one brutal truth: the world is not fair. And hard work does not guarantee power. In fact, it often guarantees servitude. Let's explore this uncomfortable Machiavellian reality. The myth of meritocracy. From childhood, most of us are told the same story. Work hard in school, be polite, get a degree, get a job, work hard some more, and eventually you'll succeed. It sounds noble. It sounds fair. It sounds moral, but is not real. Machiavelli would say, men judge more by the eyes than the hands. In other words, perception matters more than effort. In today's world, this is glaringly obvious. The people at the top aren't always the hardest working. They're the best at being seen, the best at positioning themselves, the best at controlling narratives. Success is not a reward for labor. It is the outcome of power, leverage, strategy, and sometimes deception. The most powerful men in history were not the ones who toiled endlessly in the fields. They were the ones who understood how to bend others to their will. This is not to say that hard work has no place. But if you think that it is the main engine of success, you are deluded. Worse, you are a pawn. The illusion of fairness. One of Machiavelli's coldest yet most useful insights is this: people want to believe in fairness, even when there is none. Why? Because fairness comforts us. It tells us the world makes sense, that we can predict outcomes, that we are in control. But Machiavelli observed how the world truly works, where appearances often trump substance, where flattery wins more than honesty, and where bold, ruthless actions achieve more than quiet labor. The illusion of fairness is what keeps millions of people slaving away in jobs that will never lead to wealth or influence, because they've been trained to believe that eventually someone will notice their hard work. But Machiavelli would remind us, power is not given, it is taken. No one is coming to reward your labor. If you want results, you must maneuver for them. Why obedience is rewarded more than effort. In Machiavellian terms, the obedient worker is the perfect servant. They don't question. They don't strategize. They don't pose a threat. They simply work harder, longer, and more willingly than anyone else. That kind of person is easy to exploit. That kind of person builds the palace but never gets to live in it. This is why society elevates the narrative of hard work, because it creates a population that serves, not questions. It promotes obedience disguised as virtue. But the Machiavellian man does not aim to be praised for effort. He aims to position himself above the need for effort. He builds systems. He leverages others. He studies the game. He does not grind. He moves pieces. Effort without power is futile. Effort is admirable, but only when directed by intelligence. Hard work that isn't connected to power is often useless. Think of the laborer who breaks his back every day to earn just enough to survive. Compare that to the strategist who uses knowledge, persuasion, and control to earn more in a day than the laborer does in a month. Which of these two men has mastered life? Machiavelli believed that power must be your aim, because only power gives you the freedom to rest or to work on your terms. Only power lets you dictate your destiny. Hard work may make you dependable, but it will never make you untouchable. And in a brutal world, untouchable is the only real security. Why strategy trumps hard work? The man who works harder will always be at the mercy of the man who thinks smarter. Strategy is leverage. It multiplies your effort, your influence, and your results. Machiavelli advised rulers to be like the fox and the lion, cunning and fierce. The fox avoids traps, the lion frightens wolves. But what he never said was, be the ox. The ox works. The ox carries weight. The ox gets slaughtered. Power belongs to those who plan, not just those who persevere. If your work ethic is not guided by strategy, then you're simply burning energy to keep someone else's system running. Controlled laziness versus blind hustle. There's a concept Machiavelli would understand deeply: strategic laziness. It is not apathy. It is the ability to pause, observe, analyze, and wait for the right moment to strike. Blind hustle, on the other hand, is glorified desperation. It is movement for movement's sake. It is exhausting, directionless effort, often done to signal worth rather than achieve outcomes. The strategically lazy man watches. He learns. He doesn't rush to act. When he moves, it's precise. And because of this, his moves are fatal. They land with weight, not because of effort, but because of timing and leverage. The lie of passion and purpose. You've heard it. Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. But Machiavelli would laugh at this illusion. Passion, while powerful, can be blinding. Purpose can be used against you. Many people are exploited in the name of purpose, working endless hours for a cause, a company, or a dream that will never elevate them. Machiavelli would advise, use passion, don't be ruled by it. Let purpose guide your strategy, not replace it. Be cold enough to know when your passion is being used against you, and cunning enough to pivot when necessary. The Machiavellian alternative to hard work. So, if hard work is not the answer, what is? Leverage. Use knowledge, systems, people, and tools to multiply your effort. Timing. Understand when to strike, when to wait, and when to disappear. Manipulation. Influence perception. Appear humble when needed, fierce when required. Adaptability. Be water. Change with the times. Reinvent yourself without fear. Power. Always move toward positions of control, not compliance. These are the principles Machiavelli would teach in today's world. Because ultimately, it's not the man who works the hardest who wins. It's the man who plays the game with the fewest moves and the highest stakes. Final thought. Hard work is a tool, not a virtue. It is useful, but not sacred. And when weaponized against you, it becomes your prison. Machiavelli did not worship labor. He worshipped effectiveness, impact, results, influence. If you want to be free, stop working harder for scraps. Start thinking sharper for sovereignty. Because in the game of life, pawns work the hardest, but kings move the least.